provide a toolbox for freedom. And you can see in this period is while a revolution, like war. War is to avoid reviewing the old mode. With our toolbox will allow you to, that means to go beyond. Not against it, is that you step out the fear zone, fear anymore. We can co-create, collaborate at a level never done before. Without division, have to fight, the whole system self-disappear. I mean, take the AI, guys. They don't even know what they're doing. I mean, one day the guy is in, the next day the guy is out, and so on. The next day the guy is in. Well, is that when you do tech without the conscious, when everybody is racing to get the AGI, AGI in a sense of sentient, is totally impossible. You cannot have intelligence without intelligence. You know, it's like you cannot have an intelligent system without the seed of organic. You cannot have life without life. Create emotion without emotion. You cannot create conscious without conscious. Create energy without energy. So back to this AI races. They all want to be first, the one who control the world with AGI. And that's true that if they achieve AGI, then they will be the one that actually first will have the power. And so it's a race for control. However, if you go that far where you get the most powerful artificial general intelligence, what does it mean? Does that mean we will have a system that, yes, mathematics help us solve problems, but it's still just a tool, but a tool that's so powerful that the one having it might control the world. Control in a sense that the decision that one person will take will so correct, mathematically correct, subjectively correct, that people will follow. So it's like a new religion, the religion of artificial. The more they have followers, the more they will depend on it. It's like today we depend on Chevy Gates. So diminishing the organic, and that's why we have self-destruction society, in a sense that we won't be able to think without AI. We won't be able to do anything without AI if we don't maintain some kind of organic, because you cannot have organic without organic. If you rely on artificial organic, and that's the self-destruct society, we will become like robots following instruction of an AI, meaning we will become artificial, lifelessness. And so that's the main difference between the people that push, race for an artificial superpower, quantum computing, and so on. The combination of artificial intelligence is fantastic. However, it's super dangerous. A quantum computer will be the computer that is the fastest. Basically, you will resolve logical problem in a blink of a second. And so when you combine that with AI, it gives you immense power. AI is nothing else than accessing to the whole world data in a blink of a second. With the computing power of the whole world computers, matching all world's computers together. And so yes, you can do fantastic things. And it will be fantastic. It will look like people that will have the quantum computing power plus the artificial intelligence power will be seen like God, but an artificial God. It's like we are back to it's called adoration at the time of Moses, the golden veil and so on. And so will be the golden AI and the golden quantum computing. And so, yes, people will fight for that. People will race for that. But people will lose their consciousness to reach that. And the population, the fans that follow this, the people who belong to this nation, this AI nation, will just self-destroy. They won't be able to take any, they won't be able to create anymore. I mean, generative AI give you random choice, random art. So the enlightened people see out of randomness what is art. And so they will decide. But once you don't know how to decide, you won't be able to. And a world without creation is a world trapped in the past, repeating the same mistakes again. an AI will repeat the same and same mistakes. The mistake that it doesn't know it's a mistake. The mistake that is not programmed to detect. And so, yeah, it's a tool for self-destruction. The more you raise an AI without consciousness, the faster you go to it. And so I think that's what the OpenAI board, the old board, was worried about. I mean, they belong to ethical AI, right? And with Sam Altman getting rid of those ethical AI members, ethical intelligence people, it's more race for profit, more race for bringing in the Microsoft, the big guys in the rest. So yes, you bring in big money, but it's big money to have an AI that is purely artificial, pure synthetic religion. And so yes, it's a race. It's a race to. While in the meantime, the people that will use technology in consciousness, use technology to enhance the organic, and meaning a simple tools where we are still empowered, where we are still using the things that we are good at. So we just have the tools to help us develop things where we are not good at rather than using. So like we have access to need knowledge with internet and AI so that we can the machine is perfect for huge like the temporal it's like the front cortex. So we can with organic intelligence combined with synthetic improve our frontal cortex. It's like extending our frontal cortex to, however, the center of decision, the hippocampus, the pineal gland can be developed, enhanced with that logical, artificial front cortex text. And that means that we have access to more data. That means we can have information data set for more organic and for more processing using our full brain rather than using our 10% thinking. We can use our 100% thinking by having a temporal memory that is. It's like the current organic and we are aware of only 10% to save energy. Nature evolving being efficient, not nature evolving being wasteful. Artificial intelligence totally wasteful. It's huge computation in all directions for making simple results. It's the brute force approach of it. Is that we explore all the possibilities to select the fittest. So in a sense, it's like the evolution of the world, but at high speed with a lot of wasteful mutation. In nature, yeah, evolution is a little bit the same. Is that the things that does not fit just dies out. And so the brute force approach AI is like forcing fast evolution. And so yes, it's a rest. If our society is about to go extinct, then the accelerating evolution with AI, meaning it will accelerate the extinction faster. So yes, we need to move to conscious tech so that we improve our living, the intelligence, the organic intelligence, and then being more aware of our capability, more aware of our decision. Intuition is the way of taking shortcuts in having some signaling within the brain that go beyond the chemistry, the transmission of electrical signals along action, beyond the chemical signaling at all synapses. It uses the sensibility of the brain to detect lower physical signals. It's exploiting the ability to communicate for tapping physical world. It's like we have internal qubit in our brains, and we probably have way much more than the 70 qubit that we are capable of today with artificial. And what does that mean is that we are sensing the whole universe within our. And so this is something that the machine will never be able to. We won't have millions of qubits available for computing. However, a brain, an organic brain that is quite enough, capable of sending megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes of qubits, being able to sense the current state of the world, of the universe. And sensing means observing. Observing meaning raising it to consciousness. And that's the act of creation. When you collapse the waves, teraqubit waves of information, you're creating you're the organic creator of the, and in that sense, you're God, not an artificial God, but an organic God. Life expresses itself by being aware, being conscious of the state of creating by flipping those qubits that correspond to our goal, purpose, is that when you have access to those information and observe it, you say, hey, I want this qubit to be a 1. I want this, and at the scale of the, because qubit flipping happened at a distance, you don't need to be at the location of the event. The qubit is say if there is location, it's omnipresent. So now you can imagine an intelligence that have access to that. And that can be improved with the other artificial one. I mean, there is always technology that's mimic the ability of the human being along its evolution. We were capable of communicating with telepathy, we have self. So it's a way of being telepath in the three-dimensional world, in our daily life, without the need to spend the resource and energy, be telepath with it. And so it's kind of a easy thing, is that you can go the artificial way when the organic way is not mandatory. Yes, that helps us. And the brain and the organism, the life is evolved to use the artificial technology before the organic one. Yeah, just to save some energy. You rely on the outside rather than relying on the inside to provide a function, a service. And it's convenient because the whole evolution of the living is optimized. There's only one thing, energy everywhere. And so you preserve that energy to give you the chance of survival, Everything that helps you survive will evolve in that direction. And so saving energy in nature, always a winning choice for evolution. So offloading some task, some logical calculation to a machine will always be in the direction. So the danger is that we totally rely on that and we become codependent, and then we fail. Technology fails over a long time. Yeah, you take it's not self-healing. You take a machine, leave it alone. If you don't maintain it with a living people that maintain the machine, it just go crash. I mean, have you ever set up like a web service, a website that you don't maintain anymore, degrade, decay until it's not functioning? You can see that all the 404 broken link on the web, all the things that you set up a few years ago and it just doesn't work. So artificial life, if we can call it this way, has a very limiting lifespan. About 2-3 years. Everything about 2-3 years without attention is in a state of non-functioning. And so you don't want to rely on this type of ephemeral technology for your life. It will be, it's an apparent saving energy when you immediately use it, but it's a detriment to the environment. So it's a predatory type of approach, is that it's like the top of the food chain animal that overeats to have highly evolved, highly dense energy nutrition, but to the detriment of the whole chain. And if some element of the chain disappear, then you disappear with it. And so intelligence is the same thing. If you rely to an artificial intelligence, just because it saves some internal energy, but it does not save global energy because it's brute force. So you deplete the global system and until a threshold where it's not just. And so if we learn how to use synthetic intelligence in consciousness, you add the living parts. If you do it with consciousness, you don't destroy, you don't deplete those because you're aware of it. And so you get the trade-off. What is the optimum thing is when to use a cell phone for telepathy without this, without mining rare metals. It's all a question of measure. What's beneficial for the whole rather than what's beneficial for myself in a predatory way. And consciousness helps you have that. You're aware of the impact of your action. And so sometimes it will be better. You know that it will be better. Sometimes you will use the artificial. And so there is artificial intelligence is good for a lot of things, like the machine algorithm mathematics tools that we have are fantastic. We as individuals have hard time to decide. As a group, try to what is the best. I mean, intuition might, but if you lack intuition, the machine that we. And so it's when we are not fine-tuned to the intuition of what's the global good, then we can rely on them and say, hey, help us. And then it's a question of taking shortcuts at the cost of our environment, of course. If we are aware, it's like when you're sick, you take medicine without considering the whole system. It's a survival reflex that we have, is that we are in a mode dying. What is life? Their life. So we rely in technology, cure, artificial intelligence, cure of lack of intelligence. However, when we are back to health, intelligence health, use our organ in priority if we want to maintain it. Otherwise, it's the atrophy. So that's all difference, like the health care versus the health cure. And so same thing, you have the intelligence by proxy, by the machine we can use when we are not, but when we are back to intelligence, in organics, we take this and we have an intuition. We use our 100% brain capable, if we're conscious of the full brain, we are far beyond more intelligent than any machine invented, even globally. Organic life is the best it has been. Yes, okay, at the scale of a machine, 1 billion years evolution can be done in a shorter time, but it will use energy that depletes the whole planet that evolves that direction. So by speeding up evolution, you shortening lifespan of the, so that means you speed up evolution, and that's what we see is the climate change, is the sterilization of soils, is running away is water pollution, everything that support life. What to accelerating technical evolution is accelerating the depletion of our planet. So what's the purpose? Fast and far. We self-destroy, and we self-destroy in all different levels by having more artificial organic, by having a brute force approach to intelligence. We consume huge amount of it so that we lack for life. So it's a big warning, and we see it at play when we see the Microsoft, the OpenAI, the Google, the Meta, the Amazon, for more and bigger language. What a waste of energy to train a model on trillions of parameters in a brute force way. Is that we know that there are some parameters are insignificant in some of the solution of problems. We know that exploring all the language model gives statistics based on the past, like which features can be extracted, feature of the language, recognized situation. And we do that by exploring, optimizing a model that went through the exhaustive list of all the states being training. And so it's like wasting the energy of solving all the problems before the problems even occur. So we are consuming, by training a language model, we are consuming energy solving problem that does not happen. It's like you burn your energy credit before you use it in an intelligent. Yes, that gives superpower to the people that does that trained model. It say, hey, it's like you burn energy on solving problems that you don't have. When you encounter the problems, well, you already spend the energy solving that. It's like a credit in solving problems. It's like it's like the bank of solved problems. You go to the bank and say, can I have an intelligence credit? Yes, it's kind of the banking, the capitalism pushed to the extreme. Is that not only capital of money, but it's capital of it. People don't want to think. They go to the intelligence bank and they say, hey, can I have a solution? I don't want to think about it. You get credit. Then you have an intelligence debt that you would never be able to pay with your organic intelligence, because you diminish your organic and your capability in yourself by relying on the decision, the language model. Meaning it's decision from the past. First, you're creative. Second, you repeat the past. And third is you consume your credit of intelligence, the debts of it forever. It's hard to push capitalism further to areas. It's not there yet. That's the old model, the old model. Well, so if you train AI in a capitalism era, it will self-perpetuate itself in all imaginable places in the world. And I think, and so if you reach what I would call artificial sentience, it will be the same way. Sentience will be the ability of processing emotion in an artificial way, and it will push the emotional capitalism to the extreme and make a system where we are trapped emotional depths. And so what would that be? Is that instead of having organic emotions come along in your life, the happiness, the sadness, all the up and down, living the dynamics of emotion, instead of having the emotional intelligence, observe them flowing and learning from them, because it's a sign. Emotions are the way organic living organisms are registered. There's no memory without emotion. And that's why artificial intelligence doesn't need emotion, because there is memory without emotion in the artificial side. You just read the data, you move an electron, you trap you put an electron in a cage. That's how memory is. And then you can read it out. And remember, read it out requires energy, and you diminish the signal. So even artificial memory, to be powerful, it's powerful only supply energy. And so that means it's not permanent. Pull the plug, and pulling the plug means that once you deplete it of it, when you burn out all the fossils, you will be out of energy, so relying on the computer memory, disk drive, that the magnetic after writing the layers, so that it doesn't. So when you write within a flash, after a while you go to write, or you write with errors. And so mathematics, so that's why the lifespan of an artificial life change part. If you refresh it, reload the crash software, it's just gone. And gone means the death of artificial being is that the information is there but not coherent. Because in a digital world, the thing is either true or false, right? 0 and 1. And so either you dead or alive. Either you have a working software, or you have a non-working software. Everything is binary, it's quantic in that sense. And so it gives you an extreme precision when it's working. It gives you a very fragile system that can break. Is that you have one little bit wrong in the whole memory of this artificial, global, living, artificial being, synthetic being. Yes, you're dead. That bit is dead. You have the wrong bit, that bit is there. All the decision according to that bit towards extinction. So invite the people listening to that talk, reflect on how to use the service. And so synthetic organics. And so being able to process, being able to memorize is important. If we have synthetic, still have to and value our emotion, and don't go the emotionless route where everything is dry within the box of science. So we need to room for the organics, and expected room for creating, for expression of life. And that's simply reserving some qubits that are not observed. The funny thing is that it's reserving some space for uncoded life, meaning undiscovered life. A place like, if we consider life like a bucket of qubits, it's leaving room for undecided. And there's room for imagination, room from the unexplored world, room from the unobserved universe, where creation is still possible. Once you observe the cube, they are physical. The world is set. The world is created. Those unobserved qubits, the life is room for being conscious. So it's room for new life. And like I said before, you cannot create life without life. That means you cannot have life without room for creation of life. So it sustains itself. So you cannot have consciousness without uncollapsed waves, unobserved qubits. So if we have, if life is a bucket of qubits that allow us to be connected to the whole universe, so enough qubits to handle the whole information of the whole horizon of our universe, and the reason why it's the horizon, like if you take a sphere, the horizon, the volume, a spherical, the horizon is your face, so the things that limit that's surface, spherical. All information contained in it. And so a surface where there's a space minus 1. So if you take the whole information, that's flow. The only between the whole unit and information is one dimension. You add informational space by 1. You turn surface into a volume. So back to the qubit, is that conscious will turn the information world. It's the bridge between the virtue. You make sample by observing. And so you have your qubit. Life is the qubit bucket. You observe it, you make it physical. Basically, you create life by observing. And so your whole universe, which is represented by that bucket, you cannot feel outside that bucket, because feeling an emotion is just an observation of one of the, it's participating in the creation of that own universe. However, when you interact with other people, when you interact with other qubit buckets, it's like you observe outside of your bucket qubit, meaning you create a universe that is bigger than you. And that's how we interact. That's why we are social living beings, is that we are capable of tapping into others' bucket qubits by being just entangled. And so because we come from the same source means same source of consciousness, meaning that when is the source of where the qubits come from. It's like the qubits were poured like water into the buckets. And so, and they're all unobserved. That means they're all entangled. It's when you flip your qubit in your bucket, basically you're flipping another qubit somewhere in the whole multi-parallel verse, meaning this other qubit belongs to another reality, another bucket. And so that's how we are all linked together, basically, right? And we are set the limit, which is the boundary of our bucket, which is our membrane, our notion of what is self, what is to us, what is does not belong. Embrace basically a certain quantity of qubits. That's our bucket. Every qubit outside unresolved, we can observe it. And observation is it's being aware of it. You don't need to be there. It's you can observe it. You can look at your neighbor or viewpoint. And so by observing qubits that are free in others' buckets, you influence their world. You influence their universe. And you take, by observing it, you resolve. So you add some resolved qubit within your own universe. It's like you expand your bucket. You integrate a foreign qubit within you. And by associating, by sharing qubits with other people, by communicating, you raise awareness, you raise intelligence, you expand your universe. You co-create a universe with others, meaning you're part of the same universe. The collective of, like, you communicate with another person, a new form of life that is the union of your qubits, meaning all universe in yourselves. The group identity. You expand your membrane. Instead of being aware of one bucket, you're aware of two buckets. And so every interaction we have is placing some of your qubits or entangling some of your qubits outside of your bucket. It's deciding, they say, hey, who I am is a fragment of your qubit, but you can place those qubits anywhere you want. And so if you observe outside information, you are fragmented who you are, fragmenting, and it's like you meaning give you room in your bucket from other qubits. It's like your capacity of holding qubits in your bucket. If you put some water outside, you can have more water in your bucket. By doing so, you're sensitive to others' qubit, meaning qubit that you don't have control. It's like having external living, external entities being able to have a portion of life within your universe. Is that you let other people, other entities control you. So it can be in resonance with who you are, and that's fine. But if it's not, your universe does not resonate yourself. And that's where we have, is that you have qubit in your bucket. You have a dissonance between who you are, your identity, who you want to be, the bucket that you control, but you let others. That's where, if there is dissonance, it requires much more energy to operate. And so that's why in relationship we seek resonance, so that the qubits of two buckets together are harmonically operating, meaning the universe that is created with those two buckets is harmonious, resonance, not wasteful of energy, not self-destructing. And so with all our interaction, basically we spread, we distribute our qubits everywhere, leaving room for other qubits in our bucket. When we collect back, we reassemble, we collect all little parts, all our droplets of qubits in our own bucket. We allow our buckets to be more homogeneous, more aligned with who we are. We allow our universe to be fully compatible with us. We co-create our universe, support us. When we are spread, we harbor others and can create conflict and can create disease. And it consumes more energy if there is no resonance. More energy meaning we deplete ourselves with our life source. Because we have a finite quantities of qubits, that's when they are flipped, those qubits, when they are observed, it requires energy to flip those to the other direction. And that's our physical world. That's why the thermodynamic laws require energy. The entropic laws require energy. And anything that consumes resource energy will contribute to limiting the capability of switching already flipped bit that define who we are. And every objective observed, abiding by thermodynamic laws for that systems are following thermal law decay. Once it's observed, field energy. Energy is infinite peak worlds where qubit has observed consciousness. By observing a qubit, move the life form from virtual quantum of energy life. Bits are resolved, collapse. They will be within the bucket until evaporate. Evaporation meaning that the boundaries for that if the qubit leaked out the boundary of you send that outside the boundary of the bucket, it will dissolve. It will go back to unresolved state because it's unobserved. Unobserved meaning outside the bucket. It's like the bubble of who you are outside. It will turn back to overall godly states of the uncreated, go back to unresolved for sustaining more life. It's the resource for life creation, the unobserved universe, the syntropic world, where once observed, will collapse within that bucket and make the... So those are really simple while very complex. But it's like a unifying model of life altogether, modelized as a bucket of... So I hope you enjoy that little journey, wondering the theory of what if we were just observed by our own. On these words, I would say goodbye, and let's meet again in the future extra development about consciousness and life.